She had everything to be the vice presidential candidate for the Republican candidate and former President Donald Trump. The governor of South Dakota, Kristi Noem, wanted to show that she was a tough woman when, in her biographical book, she claimed that she did not hesitate to kill one of her puppies for being unruly and a goat simply because it smelled bad. In a divided United States, love for animals, especially pets, is one of the few things that unite Republicans and Democrats. Therefore, for many, this confession sank the great favorite to be the vice presidential candidate of the United States. However, not everything is decided, as Trump, who has no pets, said she was a loyal woman. Today we will talk about Kristi Noem and her controversy, which many in North America have already dubbed the new Cruella de Vil. Let's begin. Who is Kristi Noem? Kristi Noem, 52 years old, was the first woman elected as governor of South Dakota, a small state of almost 1 million inhabitants located in the Midwest of the United States. Although it is not well known outside the American borders, you might know about the famous Mount Rushmore monument, where the faces of 4 American presidents are carved. Well, it is in this state where it is located. The state's economy is mainly based on agriculture, tourism, and manufacturing. Noem has declared herself an evangelical Christian and belongs to the Republican Party, which seeks to return to the White House, alongside the former President of the United States, Donald Trump. Until a month ago, everything seemed to indicate that Kristi Noem would be the running mate of the former president, who has said she is a truly loyal woman. It all began when the British newspaper The Guardian obtained a copy of the politician's autobiography called No Going Back, somewhat boring like almost all political biographies. But it was the episode of her dog's death and a goat's that generated a wave of indignation not only in the Democratic Party of President Joe Biden, but also within the ranks of the Republican Party itself. And before delving into what the governor said exactly, some figures need to be understood. In the United States, there are 82 million households, and 71 million have at least one pet, one of the highest percentages on planet Earth. The preference for dogs, for example, is widespread throughout the United States, as evidenced by the fact that at least once a month, 86% of Americans say, "I love you," to their dog. 73% buy them a gift, and 68% let them sleep in their bed. So what Noem said generated an avalanche against her, from which many say she will not be able to escape. What exactly did she say? In the book, she wanted to tell about the time she wielded a gun and killed one of her puppies, a 14-month-old dog named Cricket. It was a German wire-haired pointer, writes Noem, and had come to us from a home that had to deal with its aggressiveness. That day she had guests at her ranch, and they went out hunting. Cricket spent the morning running ahead of the party, according to her, scaring away the birds and obeying no one. On the way back, they stopped at a neighbor's farm, and the dog escaped and killed a few chickens. Noem first describes her as unruly, and then calls her a trained killer. According to her, the animal tried to bite her when she managed to catch it. "I hated her," she recalls in the book. "That was when she decided she had to put her down and do it with her own hands. I stopped the truck in the middle of the road, took out my gun, grabbed the leash, and led her to a pile of gravel." And then she concludes, "It wasn't a pretty task, but it had to be done." But it doesn't stop there. Noem recalls another pending task upon seeing an uncastrated male goat, which she describes as repulsive and wicked, who had been a problem for the family for years and emitted an unpleasant and rancid smell. After recounting how she kills it to the surprise of a crew of workers who watched the scene in astonishment, the governor assures that leading is not always fun. The world is full of charlatans and shirkers. We need people who act. At the end of the controversial episode, the author acknowledges, "I suppose if I were a better politician, I wouldn't have told the story here." And there she was right. If she had been, she surely wouldn't have overlooked what the polls indicate. Among the few things that unite Americans in these fractured times is love for pets. The reactions. Reactions have come from all over the political spectrum in the United States. President Joe Biden's team took the opportunity to post a photo of the governor with Trump. Kristi Noem brags about shooting her puppy, proclaimed the team on the social network X, formerly Twitter. Karl Rove, a veteran political strategist of the Republican Party itself, described the episode in the Wall Street Journal as an act of stunning self-destruction. On the television show The View, the most-watched daytime program in the United States, the hosts did not mince words. "The only woman I know who kills dogs is Cruella, and she's a villain in a Disney movie," said one. "Sometimes dogs are like your children. They are your furry babies," said another. Governor Noem wrote on her social network X, formerly Twitter, "People seek authentic leaders willing to learn from the past, who do not shy away from difficult challenges. As I explained in the book, it was not easy, but often what is easy is not what needs to be done," she said. What has Donald Trump said? The former president had not commented on the troubles of one of his staunchest admirers within the party. He finally did so in New York during a private fundraising event for his campaign, in the presence of several candidates to accompany him as vice president. "I'm very curious about the dog thing," he said in a playful tone, according to accounts of those present, who observed more sympathy than criticism in his words. "Noem has been there for us for a long time, and she is loyal. She is great. Trump is perfectly capable of contradicting everyone and ending up choosing her, no doubt. After all, it is known that he values loyalty in his collaborators above almost any other virtue. Moreover, he hates dogs, and in that, he was also an atypical occupant of the White House." Joe Biden also has his dog side. The family's latest pet is a problematic German Shepherd named Commander. In October last year, it was taken from the presidential residence after at least a dozen attacks on White House staff. In her book, Governor Noem does not overlook that fact. "A dog that bites is dangerous and unpredictable. Are you listening, Joe Biden?" wrote the governor. She reiterates the argument in the final chapter when she fantasizes about what she would do first if she were president. She said, "Make sure Biden's dog is not running loose around here. Commander, say hi to Cricket for me," in a clear reference to what we all know she would do if she could. And what do you think? Here I leave you a video that, according to YouTube, is ideal for you. Well, that's all for now. Until next time.